to the Eat to Live podcast. I'm here with my dad, Dr. Fuhrman.
Hi, everybody. I'm here with my daughter, Jenna. And today, we're going to talk about sleep and sleep problems and the importance of good sleep.
And meditation.
And meditation, yeah. All really good things, because obviously it's not all about food, but when you eat healthfully and live healthfully, you're going to sleep better. So food and eating right is an important part of feeling like you want to exercise and feeling like you can sleep well at night, too.
And I'm not sure people realize, but obviously you're super into nutrition and eating right. But growing up, you were very much talking to us about how much we have to get quality sleep, get enough sleep. And you were very adamant that we should be getting 8 hours of sleep every night. So I would call you a sleep pusher as well.
A sleep pusher?
Mm-hmm. I just watched Mean Girls. Do you get the reference?
No.
Oh, so Mean Girls, she said, "I'm a pusher, Katie." And then it's a whole thing. Hopefully someone will get the reference.
Yeah, I'm just a healthy lifestyle advocate, right? Taking good care of your health. Exercise regularly, get enough rest and sleep, be happy, eat right, don't consume dangerous substances, right?
All the good things. Thank you, doctor.
Yeah, right.
So getting enough sleep is important and affects our overall health, right? Does it affect our longevity?
Absolutely. Even when we're talking about this concept of intermittent fasting, the reason we talk about it so much is because it improves the quality of our sleep.
Oh, really?
Because we sleep better and get more of the anti-aging benefits of sleep when we're not digesting food at the same time when we're sleeping. So we want to eat a dinner that allows us to be finished digesting so we can get as much, so that 8 hours we want to get at night, or 7 to 8 hours in bed, or 7 to 9 hours, whatever a person needs. We want to get as many of those hours possible in the non-digestive state. So that's because that's when we go most repair and the anti-aging effects happen.
Oh, wow. So it's actually very important for our longevity then. And that's when the anti-aging happens. So that will lead us to a longer, healthier life.
When you sleep, that's when the weight loss happens. That's when the anti-aging happens. Those are the factors leading to a longer life. Is getting good quality sleep, and the quality of the sleep you're getting to rest the body is enhanced when you don't have a full stomach. And so many people eat late at night and they're digesting food half the night.
So what about your timing of sleep too? Does it really help to follow their circadian rhythm?
Yes. There is a lot of science to show that sleeping when it's dark out and waking with light is a helpful asset to longevity. So that means we sleep better when we go to sleep earlier, as opposed to going to sleep at 12, midnight, 1, 2 in the morning and sleeping the morning hours when it's light outside. It's better to go to bed earlier, like 8, 9, or 10, and then get up at 5, 6, or 7, so you can wake up and get the morning light. Because we did mention in one of the podcasts that the morning light between 7 and 9 is most healthful. And if you're sleeping through 7 and 9, you're not getting the benefit of that morning light. And if we're talking about people who have trouble sleeping, insomniacs, or people who just have difficulty falling asleep, here's how we repair that, is getting morning light, getting out in the sun, getting up at the same, and going to bed early at the same time every day to get your body to build that rhythm of hormones, melatonin secretion, and the end of melatonin, because morning light stops melatonin secretion, enables the body to consolidate the melatonin and get it more concentrated at night and not allow it to be secreted into daylight hours all day long. You get in a low light environment, and then you have low melatonin at night because you produce too much melatonin during the day.
Is melatonin a hormone or?
Yes.
It is. So that hormone really does regulate our sleep and helps us go to sleep and wake up.
Correct. And it's one of the reasons why I do not recommend people take melatonin to go to sleep. Because if you're regularly taking melatonin, certainly occasionally in jet lag, or you have some problem where you want to get to bed and it could help you, but on a regular basis, it'll stop your own body's, over time, if you take it regularly, it'll stop your own production of melatonin. And that's not great for your health, to stop your own production or to reduce your own production. So supplementing it is not beneficial long term.
So you're trying to give people, just as you do in diet, the protocol to help your body regulate and do these things that you want it to do naturally.
Exactly. And that's also where, so morning light and also exercise and even some strength training exercises, some weightlifting, pulleys, because that also helps people produce more of the hormones to help you sleep better at night if you regularly exercise with some muscular stress. And I'm saying that do something every day, even if it's for 10 minutes. If you just have 10 minutes, do some push-ups, do some crunches, do some, slow squats, do something, because that'll also, do different body parts. Because people just walk and they think they're exercising, which is good, better than nothing. It's great. But I want to do those additional things. So we've already talked about going to bed at the same time every night, having a very dark room, not having a night light or a television light or something going on. A lot of people fall asleep with the TV on, and half the night the TV is going on in their room, putting light through their eyelids, which is not good for their long-term health either. So they have to make sure they shut everything down when they go to sleep at night.
Well, your body too. I've been really tapping into this. Your body picks up on these very subconscious noises, distractions constantly. So if you think about the TV being on, the light, what you're listening to is helping your mind race. That's not peaceful sleep. That's not quality sleep.
It's right. It's lowering the quality of your sleep, and it's interfering with the right hormones that should be secreting during sleep. So some people, it's unfortunate they have to have a job where they work late at night, but they have to go to make a very dark room for themselves if they're sleeping during the day, and then use some brighter light, like a therapeutic light, and to duplicate more sunshine during the day, because they shouldn't be living in a dark environment 24 hours a day.
Right.
They should try to, if they have to work midnights, they should try to make an environment that's like getting light all day long, or getting light a lot of the day, and then sleeping well in a very dark room at night.
Yeah, and I've always loved sleep, and Jacob says I'm gifted. When I fall asleep, it really isn't too hard for me. But I will say I've really been focusing on the quality of my sleep, and I feel so much more rested, to the point that I do not get up with an alarm clock at all. My body lets me get up by myself. And I feel like that is genuinely one of the greatest gifts of my day, because it sets my whole day up to feel good, energized, and not tired, because no one likes to feel tired.
That's so important, because I feel like a lot of my life I did this all wrong. I was tired midday all the time, trying to work, being tired, because I was always trying to sleep less because I had so much work to do. And I'd wake up with an alarm clock so I can get to work on time. And I was working late at night, writing a book or something, and that wasn't great for my health. And what you're saying is much healthier if you could go to bed at a certain time and wait till you naturally wake up without being woken out of a sleep with an alarm clock.
And I'm still an early riser, which I get up at, I would say, between 6 and 7, which is really nice, but I go to bed early. And it's not like 7 p.m., but like 9:30, 10. And if you can really recreate and make that a habit and a schedule, I just feel like you're setting yourself up for such better days.
It's so much healthier to do that.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I'm trying to getting it right. When you were kids, I was doing it wrong. Now, because I'd be working half the night.
But you were always racing the clock. So like for people who are really chasing, trying to accomplish certain things and overworked and deadlines, you're in a really tough spot.
Yes.
And it's probably not healthy.
No, that wasn't healthy. Now I'm trying to do it right. I'm trying to go to bed by between 9 and 10 every night, and stay in bed till at least 6 in the morning. And if I get up at 4:30 in the morning, I'll lie there in bed and meditate, and most often fall back to sleep again. And sometimes I'll get an extra hour. I'll sleep 8 hours, 8.5 hours, 7.5 hours. Whereas I was younger, I would be up out of the room and just getting back to work as quick as I can, trying to get my work done. So now I'm spending the time in bed.
Yeah.
And also I've learned how to meditate. So I've learned how to put my mind at rest so I can fall asleep better and not have my racing thoughts of all the work I have to do the next day and all the things I got to get done and all the things I had on my plate and all the things I'm behind schedule on. And now I have a way to I can meditate those things out of my head so I can sleep better.
Because we all have those ideas. And when your head starts ruminating and then you can't sleep and you're like, my brain was just firing all night. It makes you feel very restless and not satisfied at all. So, I would say insomnia is a huge problem. People face that. And then they also face all these constant reasons that are keeping them up at night or not having quality sleep. And then there's all of these drugs, vitamins, supplements, apps. It would be great for everyone to go to bed early and not have worries and stresses and this and that, but that's just not reality. So what do people do when they're faced with this situation where they know they have to change something, but they can't fall asleep? It's very alarming.
Yes. Well, the first thing is don't take drugs, because let's go through the options. You have benzodiazepines like Valium and Xanax, which are habit forming. And the minute you start to take them for sleep or even anxiety, you get addicted to them because you can't stop them, because now they cause insomnia if you try to stop them. And you build up tolerance to them rapidly, so they no longer work for sleep. So they're dangerous to use for sleep. Then you have the non-benzo hypnotics like Ambien and Lunesta, and that group, which are supposed to be not as habit forming, but they're not as bad, but they're still habit forming. They don't lead to a quality sleep. And they can make people fall asleep. And for occasional use, they're not that bad, but people can fall and break a hip. They make you, and they don't give you the quality sleep, and you build up tolerance to them. They stop working. They're also not good for you for regular use. So there is no, and then then the least toxic ones are the antihistamine type, like Ultram or Unison or NyQuil, those kind of, have like antihistamines that are less addicting, but they also, you build up tolerance to those too, and they stop working. And they also have side effects, not as severe as the other ones, but they still have they have dry mouth, constipation. They're still not healthy to be on those things chronically. And then there's tricyclic antidepressants, which are certainly not good to be taking, unless it's a really strong indication like a depression or something. You should not be taking that for sleep either, because it's not going to help you for sleep once you get used to it either. And they also have bad side effects like severe constipation and other problems. And then there's THC, CBD, those kind of natural
weed, marijuana.
Yeah, marijuana type products. And those also are not recommended. They're not good for your health because you get addicted to them. They stop working for sleep. They work for a few nights and then they don't work as well. You got to take higher dosages. And soon you're taking a dangerously higher dose and you try to stop it and you can't sleep anymore because you're going through withdrawal from the drugs. So you build up tolerance to them and they cause withdrawal. So almost what I've gone through right now in the last 5 minutes is almost any sleep aid is not healthful to use unless you just use it once or twice a month. If you start to use these things, if you need them regularly, they're not the answer. And no sleep specialist and no sleep expert it should be is reliant on or advocating people use drugs like that. It's just not the right thing to do.
So what you're saying is all of these drugs make people dependent and then they need more. So it's addictive and they build a tolerance. So you need more to work.
And it lowers sleep quality too.
So it's just it's like it's running the clock. It's saving you a little bit of sleep, or it's giving you a little bit of sleep, but eventually it's going to catch up with you and just not be good.
Correct. It's not an answer.
What about melatonin, like tablets? I know that's really big. Taking extra melatonin.
Well, it's not dangerous to take melatonin, like 3 to 5 milligrams. But the problem with it long term is it's not good for your health because it stops your own body's production of melatonin. So it's only an occasional use to going on a flight to Europe, sure. But it's not going to be dangerous for short term. But I wouldn't take it long term. You're not going to build up so much tolerance to it, but because it doesn't work that much anyway. But you shouldn't be taking it for forever because it's not good for you. Because you shouldn't be taking it more than a week, let's say, because it's not good for your own melatonin production.
And you make a supplement product that has what in it? Because it's a calm supplement that helps with calm and a
That's just a
sleep.
relaxing, which has like theanine and L-tryptophan, so the body can make its own melatonin. And GABA.
So it's like some herbs and stuff.
Herbs that are mildly relaxing. So it's not as sedating as a drug, but it just makes a person more relaxed. They can get into a natural sleep, a feeling of natural sleep.
But you're not recommending someone actually mess with their own melatonin levels.
Correct.
Okay.
Or being reliant on, they should solve their sleep problems with exercise, with light, and now with relaxation techniques, meditation, positive visualizations, and awake dreaming. Those are so when a person sees me with a sleep disorder, I talk to them I teach them how to meditate. I teach them how to do positive visualizations in bed to relaxing exercises that frees their mind. They get their mind focused on relaxing the body instead of thinking of other problems in life. And awake dreaming. They learn how to get into a relaxed dream state, even if they're not totally asleep, which gives them like 3/4 of the benefits of sleep. And now they're saying to themselves, okay, I can get so relaxed in bed and so comfortable. I don't have to worry about sleeping anymore because I'm still getting the benefits of sleeping even if I'm not sleeping. And as soon as they get to that belief cycle and that feeling of getting the benefits without sleeping, they're able to fall asleep better. They're not worried about sleeping because the fear of not falling asleep keeps people up. They're in a constant fear about not falling asleep. So now we have to teach them how to relax their body to get the benefits of sleep without sleeping so then they can fall asleep So that's one a tools.
I was going to ask about that because sometimes I do this myself where I feel like I have like 30 minutes or I am really tired or this happened or I traveled and people do work themselves up over their sleep schedule 100%. But sometimes I'm like, let me just rest. I think I had a friend who was like, I just want to rest. She just wanted to shut her eyes a little bit and she didn't care if she's sleeping.
Right.
And sometimes I always channel that friend and just know if I'm just shutting my eyes for 10 minutes, that's nice. Or if it's overnight and I'm on a red eye, I could just shut my eyes and like try and relax and hopefully that'll give me some rest too. So it's actually nice taking that off knowing you could just rest and that's also okay.
Right, because the minute you're there, I got to sleep. I'm on a red eye, I got to fall asleep now. It's going to interfere with the quality of sleep. You can't worry yourself to sleep.
Totally.
You have to relax yourself to sleep. That's the problem.
And I just wanted to mention when starting to like meditate or do awake dreaming or just enjoy rest, humans are really a creature of habit. So incorporating anything new, like one thing new into someone's life is really scary for them. Like they say people would go to the same restaurant over and over. And even if you don't like it that much, just because you're nervous about the changing and it being worse. So I think with sleep and with trying to meditate for the first time or awake dream, something that someone's never done before and has no idea how to do it, you have to just take that first step. Because once you do it once, you could do it twice, then you could do it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Right. And especially with meditation, I think people are like, I don't know how to do that.
Well, let's do a few of these exercises right now, because let's demonstrate to people that I don't have to put any stress on myself to feel I have to be a good meditator. Mm-hmm. If I can just meditate for 10 seconds, that's good enough. If I could just, like, I can do different types of meditation, either a breath meditation, just trying to be aware of the breathing and nothing else, or a mantra meditation, where I'm using a word like relax or ayim, some 2-syllable sound, right? So let's say I use the word relax. And here's the thing. I'm going to try to only focus on that word being said to myself in my mind, not outwardly, so a person can hear me, in a very relaxing and slow way, and not have other thoughts enter my mind during that time, except for my focus on the word relax in timing with my breath, if possible. That's how slow I'm saying it. And maybe I can only do it 5 times and my mind drifts to something else by then. But that's good enough, just 5 times. Or 3, see if you can do it. Don't put a stress on yourself to try to stay into meditation for a long time. Let's just see. And then if you're drifting, you can go back and do it again for another 10 times or something. But let's just try to do it for like 10 seconds. Let's just try it. Just pick a word. Could be a sound that you feel like, yam, ba, yam, I, yim,
Get creative.
Get creative to sound, or just use the word relax. Let's just try it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
I just want focused on relax. I just said it 3 times slowly. And I'm done.
I think I said it kind of faster.
Yeah.
But also I wanted to mention when I was reading about meditation, you could say you're like something does pop into your brain. They say like, that's fine. Just like push it back out, like, and then focus on the task and assignment. So.
Right. It's all good because it means that, okay, something came into your brain and now you can have the ability to go back into a relax, because you're relaxing either way. Now you can go back and relax. And maybe you can do it. We just did it 3 times and you did it 4 times, right? So maybe we could try to see if I could do it 6 times now.
Yeah,
and not
it
3
was
or 4
very
times.
relaxing, I have to say.
Because we don't have to feel like we're experts and we have to do it 100 times without drifting.
Yeah.
If you can just do it, just start out with feeling, that's good. You did it for 10 seconds. And you could focus on that and not have too many other scary thoughts enter your head while you're just doing that. And if in bed at night, I can say, okay, I'm just going to say a mantra just 10 times. And you know what happens mostly?
What?
I don't even get to the 10th time. I'm already asleep at the time. On my way to the 10th time, I'm already fell asleep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just relax. It takes the thoughts out of my head.
Well, I used to get down on myself too when I was trying to meditate, and I had all these thoughts come in, and I felt like I was just thinking. But even that, if you just slowly, that's okay if they come in your head. You can then push them out. It's okay to come in, and so if you just keep up with it too, it still does something for you. So even the intention behind meditation, it doesn't matter how good you are. It's not on a scale.
No, right, correct.
And it might really serve you in ways you don't even know, but keep doing it. Like break the habits, try something new, and do it.
Right.
So
and it breaks up your mind going, in overthinking too quickly, too much firing, too much firing of nerve impulses. So even if you're just going to meditate for 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and go back. What you said, you drift, go back again. You're starting to slow the impulses in your brain.
And as you
a relaxed stage,
turn down the lights in your room, feel really good in your bed, like that's your you time that you really deserve. And so you can incorporate meditation when you feel good there. And no matter if you're sleeping or not, that's your you time and that's your restful time.
This morning I woke up and Mom was sleeping next, not up yet, so I just stayed there and meditated another 20 minutes. Now, I think I was awake the whole time, but it seemed like it went by in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was really into just relaxing in bed and meditating.
Did it feel good?
Because I'm not in the work mode anymore. I have to rush out of bed and get to work. I can just it's good for my health to spend a little extra time in bed just meditating.
I think it is too. Yeah. So what were the other forms of meditation that you were talking about? So this one was the mantra form.
Then there's the breath form where you don't have to have a mantra. You just focus on your breath.
I was actually thinking about my breath a little bit during that.
I do that. I combine the breath with the mantra. I kind of do the relax as in and out. I do the re and then relax. So I do combine sometimes the two, mantra and the breath form. You don't need a word. You can just focus on the breath, though.
I was also reading that breath work and meditation were good, like lowered your blood pressure and your stress levels. Have you seen anything about blood pressure?
Yes, that makes the point that it's good to take a break during the day and meditate to calm yourself down and relax as well. Take a rest. People say, take a siesta after lunch. If you got enough sleep at night, you probably don't need the siesta, but it might be good just to even meditate for 10 or 15 minutes in midday to break up, to slow yourself down and get some rest during the day.
The world is just, so busy. You just don't have to be that busy all the time thinking of 10,000 things. Oh,
this is good for people.
You also mentioned talking about just being really busy, that if you're having trouble sleeping and your brain's ruminating, to wake up and write things down and then.
Yes, it's good to have a pad and a pen next to your bed. So if you keep thinking, I got to get this done, can't get it out of your mind. If you just take a minute before you go to bed at night and write it down, then you can put it aside. Once it's written down, you have to keep thinking about it because I used to get worried I'm going to forget something the next day. And I have an idea that comes to my mind. I said I have to do a good idea, but I'm thinking all night about this good idea. Stop thinking about the good idea, write it down, put it aside, you'll finish it up tomorrow. Or I ruminate about a problem, so just so it helped me to write it down to get it out of my head.
This happens to me so often, and I didn't realize it was such a problem in my life until I was like really busy with work. And then I think years after, I'm like, why am I thinking about that constantly? As if the whole world's going to fall apart without me, remembering to do that. Right. But also the power of writing it down, just getting it out there. Why would I forget if it's on my list? Then I could put it out of my mind. No one's going to forget. So like making to-do lists, I think are so important. So you don't have to bring those burdens to the bedroom.
Absolutely.
Like it's so important. And if we both experience that, how many other people are feeling that way?
Probably, yeah. We both experienced it. We didn't even communicate about this before. Yeah. I didn't even know you had the same thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's ridiculous. Right. I mean, now it's better.
And then there's positive visualizations and awake dreaming, because some things helps other people more. Some people do better with that than they do with the mantras. And maybe we should talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Because the positive visualization is something, there's two types. Here's a type where you're lying in bed and you feel like your arms are getting heavy, like you can't lift them up. They're like weighing 100 pounds each and they're just soaking in the bed. But usually you start with the head down. So you start with like the head is heavy and sinking into the pillow and you can't move your neck and your head. And then you feel the muscles in your face relax, around your forehead and around your eyes are totally relaxed. And the muscles in your cheeks around your mouth and jaw are very relaxed. You feel like your face is getting really smooth and relaxed. Now you go back to your neck, and your head is heavy. And now you feel a warmth coming into the body, a favorable warmth, a comfortable warmth that's radiating down from your head into your chest and shoulders as they're feeling very relaxed. And there's tension in there, and now the tension is leaving your neck and your shoulders. And I know I'm going faster than I normally should go because we're doing a podcast, but this is even slower, and you're feeling this warmth and relaxation slowly radiate down through your body in an imaginary sense as your body becomes weak and like you couldn't move your muscles, they're so heavy, and you're sinking into the bed, and you couldn't even lift up your arm or turn over, and you're in this comfortable, heavy weightlessness. It's kind of like a weighted position where your muscles can't move. And then, so I usually do that relaxation, working down the body, It's good because you're focusing on that and you're not focusing on your life's worries or fears.
It's a good assignment.
And you're making sure you're not holding any tension in your body.
Yeah, which I hold all my stress as physical tension. When I'm really stressed, my neck gets tight. And like even doing this assignment, I want to really like relax and make it like this. Because like keeping your neck up
here, your shoulders,
tight, like it's my number one thing. So if just taking a moment to try to undo that and let that physical tension go where people hold it, I hold it in my whole left side, is crazy.
Yeah. And then you move from there, from this relaxation, positive visualization, to a visual where you're visualizing you're lying on a beach or in a favorite comfortable spot, and maybe you're seeing the seagull slowly fly across the sky, or the palm tree with the leaves moving slowly in the gentle wind, or the lapping of the ocean coming up on the beach and down, or so you're just seeing some very things. So you have a peaceful image in your mind as you feel very comfortable and warm in this relaxed space, because you finish doing the positive visualization of your body and you move on to a beauty visualization of the beautiful world around you. And you move and you do that, and you can do that for a while. Just enjoy as if you're sunbathing in the shade on the beach, possibly sleeping in a very comfortable position with one of the beautiful places in the world around you. And then you can leave your body in an awake dream. So you're not sleeping yet, but you're awake, but you're going to dream. And I like to dream that I'm kind of like lifting off my body and floating in a cloud, or like a magic carpet, where but I like the floating feeling, like floating with a cloud, like a balloon, like one of those air balloons that float along with the wind. You don't feel the wind because you're moving with the wind. So I'm floating in a cloud. I don't feel the wind, and I'm just moving with the cloud. And now I can visualize these beautiful parts of the world I wanted to visit, or like the Amazon jungle, and I'm looking at the beautiful parrots, or I'm looking at, fish, or I'm looking at the cliffs in Hawaii, the jungle cliffs, or I'm looking at so I'm going up the Himalayan mountains, so I can visualize the floating and visualizing beautiful parts of the world, or beautiful. So I'm dreaming now. Things I want to dream about, want to visualize the beauty of the world in my relaxed and peaceful state. So I put myself into a awake dream, so I don't have to feel like I'm wasting my time in bed. I'm resting, and I'm doing good for my body, even if I'm not totally sleeping.
All of that sounds epic, but you made me laugh because you talked about being on a magic carpet. Do you really like Aladdin or something? Is this something you dream about?
No, the carpeting is just feeling like you're floating.
Like a magic carpet ride, like in Disneyland?
No, it's like the cloud is, I'm like floating on a cloud.
Oh, okay.
But some people, Poppins. I'm just giving people some other options, like like floating on a carpet.
I mean, I'm a huge Aladdin girl, so I would love to, But I love the idea. It's like being on National Geographic, of going to all these places in your mind.
Exactly.
Sorry, you're killing me. So I think that's just so cool that you can do all of these things and go these places. Okay, so I just wanted to ask also, do you feel like, you could play these relaxing music and the stuff you might hear in a massage place, or do you think that or essential oils could also help relax you and are good, or is the music you should get used to silence? Like I go back and forth. If you're able to you can use these music or these relaxation tapes that play. Yeah. But you have to have the ability for it to turn off on its own. So you don't have to wake up if you fall asleep with it. Then it's still going on you when you're sleeping. So they have these things where they go for a certain time and then they fade away and they turn themselves off. Yeah. As long as it turns itself off by itself, those are good to use. People really like white noise too, don't they? And that's like silence, so that's fine. Yeah, but a little bit white noise. I mean, there's apps for all of this stuff now, which is really cool. Meditation, sleep noises, relaxation tapes, like all this stuff. So you use all of it. You use none of it, but you can use all of it, right? Right. I just do it myself. Yeah, I feel like you are very self-starter that way. But I feel like when I'm counseling people who have sleep problems, I'm giving them these tools to use so they don't have to rely on medications. It's the same thing with nutrition. We're giving them tools to use nutrition, exercise, lifestyle, so they don't have to rely on drugs. It's the same thing with sleep. You can't rely on drugs. You have to do this through natural means. So just to recap, what you're recommending is, first of all, creating the environment, right? Darken the room, create a good schedule. Completely black room. Black room, good schedule. Consistency, same bedtime, same wake up. Yes. So try to Right. Start with the
And
consistency
let's say
on
if
the
you can't
timeline.
fall asleep till 1 at night, still continue to wake up at 7 in the morning.
Right.
And still go bed at
Yes.
10 o'clock. Just
Yeah.
try to keep it consistent until you make it work. Till you
Build
figure,
that circadian rhythm.
the circadian rhythm back, earn it back.
Right. Okay, cool. You also want to see physical activity, exercise that wears people out and really helps, because that helps them sleep better.
Yes, even if they're too tired to do much exercise, they can still do some resistance training. They
Right.
could have a 10-pound weight and do some curls or some upright rows, or they could do some body strengthening, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, even if they're too tired to go out and go for a run or a bike ride, they've got not enough sleep. Do some physical things for your muscles. It'll help you produce more hormones that make you sleep better.
And these are things that you need to make time for in your day. If you're so busy that you can't take any care of your body, what's the point of it all?
Right.
Like, I really believe that. Okay, so exercise and then meditation that we talked about, all those different practices that you could practice. Supplementing, do you think people definitely should?
It can help them get over. It can help them, sure. If people, it's not going to hurt, but it's not the main thing. It just helps relax them a little bit with all these other things. And sometimes when people have anxiety, another thing that helps relax them is to take lavender oil. Mm-hmm. They can take a lavender oil supplement at bedtime, which is helpful too, to help relax them. I'm trying to give people things that are harmless. They're not as effective as drugs, but at least they're not going to hurt people. You know what I mean?
But with the supplements, with the healthy habits that you're doing, could be more effective than drugs. When you say that?
Absolutely, especially long term. The whole point with drugs is they don't work long term. They're only a short term fix. It's
Like
quick
hurting
fix.
yourself long term.
It's a quick fix. It's all the other quick fixes doctors do. And they hurt people long term instead of fixing things for the long. They only work short term and they hurt them long term. So if you get this right, it'll help you your whole life.
Right. So that's where you really have to change the habits, and address the root cause of things.
And not overeating and eating the right food, because then you're detoxing at night and you're waking up agitated or with a racing heartbeat, or you're doing other things to the poor health that's interfering with your sleep. So you put this all together, the exercise, the sleep habits, the regularity of the sleep, and eating right, not over, then you're going to build back better sleep habits and a healthier life.
I didn't realize not going to bed on a full stomach was so key for me in getting my quality, dubbed quality sleep, that it's remarkable, actually. Like, when you start to realize how good sleep can feel and how it affects you. People don't think going to bed full. You always hear people eat late dinner will actually affect your sleep, and it really does. You could feel almost immediately.
Yes, sometimes you can wake up in the middle of the night and still feel at 1 a.m, you're getting up to go, you still feel you're digesting food in your stomach. And I'm going, shoot, I way overate tonight. I'm still digesting food at 12 at night.
Not to mention all the people who suffer from GERD or serious stuff that's waking them up.
And they're digesting, and they're eating foods that take so long to digest, and they're eating late at night, and then they have GERD, and then it's waking, and they have other things that wake them up.
It's like the perfect storm for restlessness.
Yeah.
But I would say most people have experienced some insomnia in their lives. So these are techniques that can just help anyone. I know when I was a teenager, I actually experienced a touch of insomnia, which is crazy. But I wish I knew the stuff back then.
We all have stresses in our lives.
Yeah.
And we need some techniques to help relieve our stresses and get back to being more relaxed about life and being happy.
Because you shouldn't carry these stresses with you all of the time. Like, you need to actually learn how to process it and let it go out so it's not affecting your overall health.
Exactly.
I really believe that.
And I always say, they say that don't sweat the small stuff and everything's the small stuff, but it's really true. If you kind of let your ego go and try to just really enjoy the world around you, and you realize that there's really, I know that people have horrible tragedies in their lives, and and there's war and there's all kinds of bad things happening. But for most of us who are blessed and who live in this country and have such a good life, there really is mostly small stuff that people are stressed about.
Well, especially when we always talk about, so this could take a while, but when we always talk about self-generated self-esteem, I mean, I call it self-love, but when you stop realizing, when you stop just living for other people, trying to please other people and worrying about letting them affect your life, when you're starting to be the best version of yourselves and working toward that every single day, you start to realize how good it feels. And I think a huge part of that is learning how to deal with the stresses in your life and putting a positive spin on it. And also realizing, what's really helped me lately is realizing you don't have to be perfect too. You can try to be the best person, communicate, and
right. We have to don't have to be perfect to feel bad about ourselves when we make mistakes.
No.
We're supposed to be imperfect.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be perfect. Where do we get that idea that we have to do everything perfect? We're just trying our best, and we'll all make mistakes.
Once I realized that, I feel like it even made me a better person.
Yeah.
Because then you're just trying to live and be there for people. And if you make mistakes, you just say you're sorry.
Yeah, and from running the retreat and seeing what happens with people, I've seen that some people, when they're withdrawing from their addictions and they're going through stressful points in their life like that, they have this negativity bias where they're actually looking for things to be unhappy about, where the littlest thing is annoying to them. It's such a worthless little thing, but they kind of like build up their own importance and their own agitation by looking for things that are irritating them.
Well, because they don't feel good on the inside, so then they're looking to tangibly like put that out in the world.
Put their own negativity on something being the cause of outside of themselves. So this is no good, or whatever it is, they're being annoyed by things around them, tremendously so. And the minute they start to feel better about themselves and they're at peace, the other little things that were bothering them realize they were nothing. But I see that all the time, more now and that I've been around these people that are struggling, and so many people that are, we sit down and have a talk about
what's really going on.
And how they've just magnified, or it's called a negativity bias, which is bad for your health. It's really good to have a positivity bias. So that means looking for the good and looking for things to appreciate in the world around you, looking for things to be grateful for, to appreciate, and to enjoy the aesthetic structure of nature, and to, looking for things we can
Do you consider yourself an optimist?
Yes.
For sure. Yeah, I think me too. And it's also seeing that in other people too, and seeing that in anything, the food you eat. Like some people are so upset by this diet, and once you put a positive spin, like if you love it, like we do, it's just amazing how into it you are. Like I wouldn't even want, we could just go, it just relates to so much. So creating one healthy habit can just snowball into creating another healthy habit, same with positivity. Like it really is, so everything's a snowball effect.
All these things we're talking about are intertwined with each other.
Yeah.
A good time to finish this up. So thank you guys for joining us today. It was a nice, relaxing podcast, right? A nice, relaxing.
Do we want to do member questions before we wrap up?
Okay. Want to do just one member question or two?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So these are questions asked from our members at drfuhrman.com. So we just like to answer a couple on the podcast.
Because I can answer one question. It could take me 15 minutes to answer one question.
I know. Okay. Try to answer it with maybe a short-ish answer, but let's try to do this one. My doctor says I don't get enough calcium with the Nutritarian diet, although I eat my G-bombs and greens. My blood calcium levels were normal, although she said that's why you need a doctor to interpret lab works. This is no reflection of the calcium in your bones. So should I be concerned?
That's why you need a doctor who knows nothing about nutrition and health to give you health advice.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I knew you weren't going to like what this doctor said. Right. I thought, but yeah. So let's hear what your thoughts are.
Well, she's right that calcium in the blood doesn't reflect your need for, it doesn't mean that you're not deficient in calcium, because the body keeps a normal calcium in the blood for normal function of the body. It'll strip the bones to keep calcium normal in the blood.
Oh.
So you could have a negative calcium balance, urinating out extra calcium, and still have a normal calcium in the blood.
Right.
So that part she's right on.
Right.
But a Nutritarian diet is generally richer in calcium than a standard American diet.
For sure.
Because people eat so much green vegetables and beans and nuts and seeds, which are really high calcium foods. So I do it all the time. I always analyze the Nutritarian diet, how much protein we're getting, how much calcium we're getting, how much of this supplements, that supplements. I'm the expert in a Nutritarian diet and what it contains. Right. And so it contains usually double the amount of calcium compared to what people typically eat, just in our diet. So we're on a relatively high, because there was a study coming out of England, which showed that vegans had higher hip fractures than people on meat-based diets. And that's maybe where this doctor got that idea from. And I analyzed the vegan diet that they were following in England, which was not anything close to a Nutritarian diet. They were eating most of the calories from wheat products.
Or processed or carbs.
Whatever they were eating, the calcium was about 400 to 500. Whereas the Nutritarian diet, I put it right next to each other. It was double the protein on the Nutritarian diet and double the calcium.
Because it's high in vegetables.
Because high in vegetables, beans, and so these are foods that are really high in calcium, and they don't produce the acid tide in the blood from eating so much animal protein, which causes calcium loss in the urine. And so we're getting more, so we're absorbing the calcium and retaining it better because we're not excreting out so much calcium in our urine. Just like with sodium. We're not taking in so much sodium, we're not excreting it out in our sweat and our urine, so we're holding on to it better. So we hold on to calcium better because we're eating so healthfully, and we get plenty of calcium. And that's why we get enough protein, because because don't forget, as you put sugar in your diet and you pour more olive oil in your food, and you're taking the calcium and the protein out of your diet. Because the more you use sugar and oil, you're eating foods that have no protein and no calcium in them. Whereas if you ate the nut instead of the fruit and the vegetables, and you get the calcium. There's even calcium in fruit. So anyway.
So you're saying was there a way to test the calcium in the bones? Like,
No.
she was just saying this based on the fact that it was vegan.
She was just making a judgment based on incorrect knowledge.
Right.
Because there are some vegan diets that could be low in calcium, but an animal food-based diet is low in calcium too. Because when a natural carnivore kills the animal, like a rabbit, when they eat the whole bones and they chew the gristle and they eat they eat almost everything. But humans just have the meat, the muscle meat, and they leave over the bone, the gristle, the joints, the organs. So they're not getting enough. They're not getting calcium in that. And what are they eating? Little piddling-sized portions of vegetables. So other than the dairy, where are they getting? If they're not, where are they getting the calcium from? Except when they use dairy products. So that means they're dairy product dependent to get their calcium.
Which we know how bad dairy is for you too.
Right. So we're getting our calcium from the vegetables, the beans, the nuts and seeds, and all the so everything we're eating has calcium. They're only getting calcium from a small portion of their diet. So we actually get more calcium and more calcium retention.
I want to touch on the fact really quick too, because it is really difficult to say to like take your doctor's advice with a grain of salt. Like, so you're saying this doctor doesn't know what he's, but like, not everyone has exposure to a lot of doctors or medical people. I mean, I tell you you're wrong all the time, but a lot of people revere doctors or just think they're right. They have to be right. They went to school for this. Me and Kara talk about this all the time, that people and doctors can give you 1,000 different opinions. People don't realize that it's not all one opinion based on every single doctor. So you just have to also realize that they're people with their own opinions and stuff too.
And they're mostly really not trained. They don't spend the interest. They haven't been the student of nutrition and spent most of their waking hours studying. They're studying drugs and drug therapies or surgical techniques. They're not nutritional experts, generally speaking.
Right.
And then we have the growth of doctors who see the power of nutrition, who take this on as an interest, and they incorporate it into their career. But that's different than a general doctor. So now
And also, I mean, everyone kind of has a different nutrition protocol too, which is kind of a scary, crazy thought. There's just, it's dime a dozen.
Well, that's why we're here, and that's why I'm excited to be having the work that I do to help clarify, educate, and use exposure to a broad amount of science that people don't have the time to investigate all these things because they have their own jobs and their own lives, and I can do a lot of that investigation for them, weigh the evidence, and present them with information that they could utilize for their life. And that's been my role as my career, which is a great job.
People trust you. Yeah. So it's good to keep that going.
Good job.
But you also add, sorry, I just wanted to say this. I was thinking you also do add calcium to your supplement, right?
What's that?
You also add calcium to a multivitamin, right? Is that something you recommend?
Well, we put a little calcium in there, but we mostly give a little bit of food-derived calcium to postmenopausal women, especially if they're thinner, frail, older people, because we absorb less calcium with aging, and taking calcium supplements are too high of a dose, and there's too much at one time coming to the bloodstream, and that could be not good for the joints of the heart. So we're giving these postmenopausal women who have small appetites, who they can add a little bit of the food-based calcium to each meal, or to 2 meals a day, let's say, to get a little extra lower dose calcium, food-based calcium. It's not going to rush into the bloodstream so rapidly. I'm not going to give them such a huge dose, like 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligrams of calcium. Just add a little touch extra to the diet. So that's what we do for women who have osteopenia, osteoporosis, or who are smaller, frailer people, lower appetites, prone to developing more bone problems with aging. We can give them a little extra calcium with our osteobiotech, or in the Women's Daily has a little extra calcium. But the osteobiotech is the supplement that gives little people more K2 and more food-based calcium to add a little calcium to their diet. Because we do get reduced absorption as we age, and we want to maximize women's bone mass.
Absolutely. Okay, that was a very long question of calcium. So now I think we can be done with member questions.
Okay.
All right, that was a really fun episode. Thanks for talking to me about sleep, and I hope you all enjoyed it.
Have a good month, everybody.